Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Turtle Wow. Today's episode, we're going to take it a little easy today. We're going to go around Dumbarrow. We're going to be gathering up copper for this tune, and probably just have a little relaxing time. Yeah. Uh, I'm hoping everybody's having a good day, and everything else in between. Uh, Today's been an okay day for myself. Pretty bothersome work day, I admit. Really has me drained out and a little lacking on energy. So today I figured, let's take it a little easy. Let's just do professions this time. While I still decide whether or not if I'm going to do Lochmodan or Westfall. Now, being in Dumbarrow, I am quite literally in Lochmodan. Well, not in it, but I'm on the border of it, which kind of gives an idea that I'm leaning heavily on Lochmodan. But the reason for the leaning on Lochmodan is because I've never really leveled in Lochmodan before. Like, it's not a place that I generally would go to for my leveling route. But I've been leaning on it because I want to try something new, try something different from the formula that I normally have. Because normally I just go straight to Westfall, do all those because they're quicker, easier to do, and I know the quests, right? Lochmodan, I don't know any of the quests, so I'm just very lost in the zone. But I'm wondering if there's anything custom there that Turtle has put there to make it a little bit more interesting. I know the High Elves are in the zone. That is their starter zone. So I am very, very curious to see if they have added anything more to the zone than just that. So that is obviously still up in the air. I could change my mind at any moment because I still have my Hearthstones in Goldshire. So, if need be, I can just teleport back to Goldshire and just go continue on Westfall as I'm still riding it out. But as it stands right now, I haven't made up a decision yet. So instead, I'm just running around the zone, gathering copper, and trying to get these professions leveled up before I actually hit the next zone. Just because tin is going to be prevalent in Lochmodan, if I choose Lochmodan, Westfall is going to have Westfall obviously still has just copper, but it does have random bits of tin all around, especially in Dead Mines. Dead Mines has a very, very good chance to spawn tin. Uh, but yeah. So that's sort of the plan, the agenda, and other kind of things for today's episode, anyway. Next episode, I will be hitting the leveling trail again, at least doing quests and things. But um, that's if I can make my decision by next episode, obviously. So while I'm taking this time to just mellow out, chill out, try to wake up, basically. If you ever work so tirelessly to the bone to where all you want to do is just think of sleep, yeah, I'm pretty much on that verge and just trying to fight it as right now. Normally I would do this stuff off screen, but I figure I want to test it, see if people would like a video of just me running around collecting ore, doing my professions. It can be ore, herbs, anything. Uh, just general profession work and just sit down, talk, just chatter. Um, if it works out well, great. If it don't, I'll just get back to the leveling and I'll try this concept again next time or whatever. Um, so yes, this this episode is probably not going to be very long. I mean, I'll try to make it as long as I can, without being, I don't know, forced to do it or pushing myself to do it. You know, it's just one of those things where I kind of want to just have a time to myself in a way that kind of just goes, yeah, we got it. Don't fall asleep. We got stuff to do, right? Um, it's not really in my personal belief to sleep through the day, to sleep at night, but sometimes it's just hard to do it. Um, so yeah, it's just gonna be up in the air for a little while. Um, I am curious though if people want certain content to let me know if they want certain content. This is a great opportunity for potential viewers to just comment down below the questions or requests for certain games and things. I'm always down and open to those types of things. Um, I encourage it. I have a lot of games in my backlog, and if somebody suggests a game that I have in my backlog, I can definitely get around to playing it for uh, the camera and everything like that. I am planning on doing more live streams in the future, uh, especially on days where I feel like I can just post a video, let it sit there for a couple days, and just stream in between, just to let that video gain a little bit of traction. Hopefully, get some comments in, and and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm always open to comments. I like comments. I leave comments on comments. You know, I generally like read what people say. Um, Good comments. uh, I am I'm a social butterfly when it comes down to it, and when it comes needed for it. Um, I generally love the ideas. Love the idea of just being connected one to one, eye to eye with my viewers as much as I can anyway. Um, some questions and stuff are a little harder to answer. Uh, some questions are a little harder to answer than some, but again, just depends. If I don't know an answer to your comment, please do not feel upset or bad that I didn't respond to the comment even after I said, I will try to make an effort to do it. Uh, it's purely effort. I genuinely try to be. I try to respond to as much as I can. Right. There's only so much I can respond to. Like question wise, like if it's not even a question, if it's just a minor comment, I don't really know how to respond to it. If it's an actual question, I can give the best answer I can give, right? Um, let's see. I think that's that part for the comments part. If people have ideas or other servers they want me to play, I will take those into consideration. Just depends on the server. Um, I know there are some people who probably watch this also watch people play Ascension WoW, in which I can play it. It's just not a fan of. I'm just not a fan of it per se. I like the idea of classless, but I'm not smart enough. Well, I shouldn't say smart enough. I should say I'm not creative enough for it. At least to me, I don't think I am. I usually use a bunch of preset stuff. I don't come up with my own builds because I don't know what works with what, and I don't really try to find out or ask. Uh, yeah. I mean, I could, I should, and all that kind of stuff. I just never really think about it, right? Huh. I'm always open up to playing other classes on Turtle WoW. I mean, on stream, I play a warrior and a hunter. I wouldn't mind leveling up another class if people want another class. I also take specs into consideration too. I could try to lean on to certain things and other things too, but I genuinely just play with whatever right now until I guess somebody gives me an idea or leaves something to inspire me to actually do it. I like to I like to think that I can appease at least that much. But totally up to you guys on that part. As of right now, I'm just gonna probably stick to this hunter on YouTube. I'm not gonna play any other class. My stream is where I'll be playing everything else, I guess. As it stands as of right now, obviously. I do keep my name displayed on the screen. I know it's kind of hard to read in this video, but if you guys want to group up for any type of content, or help me make a guild of my own on here and have you guys involved in the guild, and we can do dungeons and all that kind of stuff on here. Definitely would be pretty fun. Uh, Thinking about it, it would probably be pretty fun. Um, I always leave that up there for that reason. Um, Looks like somebody's already appearing who's probably already got the ore. That's cool. This priest probably got it. Great. What else? I'm always open to a lot of stuff. Always open to a lot of things. I think if I actually had to make a guild, on Retail WoW I do have a guild. I co-own a guild. It's for Pandaren only. So anybody who watches the video up to this point has a Pandaren and want to play with me on Worm Rest Accord Alliance. Well, I guess you can in Horde too, I guess, but you'd have to, really comment your character's name and stuff like that, just so that I can actually invite you guys. But I'm planning on doing stuff with it. My guild's kind of dead right now, and I'm trying to look for ways to revive it, and I guess having viewers who would like to, you know, play together and stuff like that would probably make for a good idea. I do want to do like Mythic Plus stuff on there. PvP if possible. I mean, I'm not great at PvP, but I'm always open to it. I suck, but Uh, see, see, I'm okay with raiding. Uh, though I would probably suck at that too. Well, anything higher than heroic or anything higher than normal, honestly, I'd probably suck. Cause I'm not really good at raid leading. I'm not really good at raid leading, but I'll give it a shot. Um, what else? What else would be if I actually did a guild one here on Turtle WoW, it would probably be an offshoot of the Scarlet Crusade. Um, I like the Scarlet Crusade as a concept. I don't like how they're antagonized so much. I mean, I get it. Zealotry is bad in some cases, in a lot of cases. But at the same time, they're led by a demon. What if they're, and I always had the idea of like, not everybody's gonna follow this demon's orders, right? Like some of the stuff they would be ordering them to do would probably be really, really suspicious and would probably cause for some sort of revolt. They're in a rebellion of sorts. Like it just can't be, mindless allegiances to this, person with a silver tongue and questionable morals. It just doesn't make much sense to me anyway that people wouldn't just stop and go, yeah, that's kind of weird. Uh, that's gonna hurt us more than help us. Like I've always grown to the idea that that kind of stuff. It's just how I think anyway. But obviously, some people have different ideas. I mean, Turtle Wow just came out with the idea of just killing Gen. Like, I wouldn't have thought of, the Alliance killing Gen. Horde, yeah. Alliance, what? It just, it's kind of weird, you know? Um, weird in a sense of like, ooh, hmm. So it's just one of those things where I think you know it could be better if it was done this way rather than that way. It's just up in the air for interpretations and stuff. If I had to do my own private server, I would probably fall into Turtle Wow's kind of point of view. Just minor changes, logical changes, and lore that would definitely help out. I think when they did the whole, if you do a quest line, you can be friendly with the Scarlet Crusade. I love that idea. So, um, you know, uh, so like I always have the ideas for that. Like a friendly Scarlet Crusade, I think would be a good idea. Well, I should say a friendly in the Alliance term for Scarlet Crusade. I think the Horde could benefit with an alliance of its own. I mean, ogres have always been, allies of the Horde. It's just I don't know why they're not in this case. Like I definitely give like ogres and Feralis because there is a small Mach Nathal camp of sorts in Feralas, and I could see them being like working together with the Horde to get the ogres on the Horde side. The same way that um, Scarlets can be just join the Alliance. To be honest, Scarlet Crusade is really just Silver Hand with a fresh coat of paint and the idea of restoring Lordaeron rather than maintaining it. It's just I think there is a lot of lore that Blizzard originally just kind of pushed to the side and not cared about, and it definitely needs a little tender loving care with its ideas and stuff. So I'd probably start with that. I mean, high elves for the alliance is definitely going to be a big thing, but then I would have to balance. But then there would be a balancing issue, right? Scarlets and high elves going to the alliance and just ogres to the horde. Well, you could also make like all the different troll factions, like the Valkaraki, the Forest Trolls, and Zulfaraki, and all that kind of stuff. I think those can be swayed to the horde in some capacity. Like if we're gonna give the alliance a friendly Scarlet Crusade, Scarlet Monastery, and stuff like that, I could probably introduce some sort of system where they can do like a trial system where it would port alliance into a hostile version of it, like the normal version of it, without being friendly, and it would just be like a trial where they have to prove their will and the light, go through it all, and stuff like that. And stuff like that. And I think the Horde could probably get Zul'Farrak in the same vein, right? Like try to sway the trolls because trolls need to stick together, kind of deal. Trolls stronger together, kind of vibe, and or maybe something down south in like Stranglethorn. I mean, there is the possibility for the Gurabashi and stuff, but that's kind of a raid. I was thinking more, of the line of them working with dungeons, right? And with the Horde being aligned with Zul'Farrak, maybe give them quests for it, in the area for Horde. Uh, have Gadget stand, like, still be a neutral zone and things, and all that kind of jazz. But I think there could be more to it. Um, like a trial system definitely can be at play for the Zul'Farrak, where Zul'Farrak can probably give the Horde like the ideas of like we're doing like this type of thing to prove to our god or our Loa or god or whatever, Gazrach or whatever it is. Instead of summoning the Hydra to kill him, it would be like him giving a boon of sorts uh, for just completing the whole thing, and then and all that kind of stuff. It's just ideas that I toss around. Just an idea, just tossing around. It's not something that, I don't think any server would implement. I wouldn't think Turtle WoW would implement. So, like, it's just ideas. I wouldn't. I would be impressed if Turtle WoW did those kinds of things and implemented that kind of system. I think it would be pretty cool. Maybe add some custom quests into Scarlet Monastery for the Alliance, and some custom Horde quests in Zul'Farrak, for example. I think that would be pretty cool. I like the idea of some factions from dungeons and stuff like that can be aligned either or, and giving quests out to people who would probably if you hit a certain reputation or some kind of stuff like some kinds of stuff like that. I think would be pretty cool. Would be a pretty cool idea. Of course, some people have different ideas, philosophies, and stuff like that. It's just I'm just one voice in the crowd of like raving people who have like disjointed ideas. So it's not like anything I say is going to be like particularly special enough to be like pulled out and made into an actual ideal concept, or even something that's even considered as a concept for discussion. I mean, even my own like personal belief and stuff like that, and my ideas are not concrete in my own head, right? I can't think of fully everything right out the bat. It would actually take some time for me to like think about and consider it and stuff. But I wouldn't like discredit myself to just be like, oh yeah, you know, this idea is great. How do you back up? I don't know. It's just I think the idea is great. That's pretty much where I'm at, right? I think though if they did any ideal like changes or changes that would proceed with some big, changes in lore and stuff. Especially if they're going to try and keep the lore on Turtle moving without implementing TBC or NAC or Wrath content, right? Um, have some changes in the world after a certain patch, right? 1.17, you killed the leader of Gilneas. You killed the king of Gilneas. There's got to be some sort of power vacuum that happens from that and can cause a lot of instability, destabilization. The next patch, you're gonna have to resolve those issues, or they're just gonna be loose ends that have no resolution, right? I think, unless there is, and I haven't made it to the zone yet, so I wouldn't know, right? I would assume that it's a power vacuum right now. I can't imagine there's like a new leader of Gilneas already. I haven't seen anything in the world chat discussing the idea. Right? It's just how I am interpreting and perceive things. Um, I think. Let's see. I think Nomergon. There's already this reclamation facility, right? And Nomergon, Megatork, King Megatork is actually in there, I believe, because he's not in Ironforge, so I'll assume he's in there. Like, have a patch come out where they actually retake Nomergon. Nobody likes Nomergon. Let's be honest. Nobody likes that dungeon. I don't think I know one person in my life that goes into Nomergon and says, "Oh, I love this place." I don't know a single person. I don't think it would be any loss of having that dungeon being replaced with an actual a non-instant zone and an actual city, right? I don't think it would matter much to people if that place was just gone. But you'd have to replace with another type of dungeon and stuff, right? You'd have to. You have to balance out the world in a zone like that. So you know, it's just the idea of getting rid of one useless thing and having to replace it. And they can definitely replace it. They've made Gilneas an actual dungeon, a custom made dungeon, right? If they can do something like that, I don't think it would stop them from making more custom dungeons and stuff, right? In fact, I think it would inspire me to push them in some, or at least have or the community to push them in a direction to make more custom dungeon content because it could definitely buff out the world's lore. You know, just buff it up, beef it up. Um, you don't necessarily have to, but it would be fun because it gives more people to run new content, get new custom items and stuff like that. I think if you got rid of Numergon, I don't think anything would be lost. I would probably say, especially since the Goblin starting zone, right? Having, the Venture Co., Rebellion, Union workers, whatever you want to call them, rebel against the Venture Co. and join the Horde. You can have like a Venture Co. related, raid in Stone Talon. I think that would be easy. I mean, a Cobalt raid, or not raid, dungeon, Cobalt dungeon, Cobalt themed dungeon would probably be a better replacement for Nomergon. If you think about it, there is no real Cobalt dungeon at all ever made in WoW at all. And I think it would probably be a good opportunity to make a custom Cobalt dungeon. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, they're pretty underrated. I maybe a Murloc. a knoll. It would be interesting. I think so. I think it would be pretty interesting. I've always been the type to hope things stay interesting. Because more interesting ideas and concepts, the more I want to play it, right? The more I yearn to play it. It's just how I'm built. It's just how I'm built. I'm built different, right? I'm built different. But it's the minor things that keep me interested in this game. I'll be completely honest. I think Turtle Wilds really revigorated my want for Classic Plus. Chris Metzen being behind the wheel again of Classic development, I think he's got a good potential to do it. I think personally we should scrap the idea of a Cataclysm Classic because Cataclysm to me is not classic at all. I don't like the idea. And just going straight for a Classic Plus, add new playable races, new zones, new things, right? It won't just because TBC doesn't come out doesn't mean you can't explore the Night Elf zone like Silver Moon or Exodar and stuff like that. Well, at least I wouldn't say Exodar. I'd probably say the islands where Exodar is. If you're not going to do TBC, then you don't need Draenei. And the Blood Elves would probably be separated, so I would assume that those they would find in Silvermoon are not Blood Elves. Well, High Elves, I should say. But they become Blood Elves because of vengeance against the undead, right? Alliance expedition up there could yield for an alliance, capital up there for the zone in Eastern Kingdoms, or have them still join the Horde. But I wouldn't say they would join the Horde because of the Forsaken, though. So, an alliance out of convenience would be an alliance with the human kingdoms and such, right? Have high elves up there, have ogres for the horde. Like, I like that idea. Forest trolls for the horde, stuff like that. But I mean, or at the very least, have forest trolls as a customizable option for normal trolls and a dark spear alongside them, because I think that would be, a little bit more worthwhile. But if you're going to make high elves for the alliance, I would probably say ogres for the horde. Definitely. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. And I think it'll be, I'm hoping that, people can take the ideas and concepts of that and just make use of it one way or another, right? I think it will be a pretty good one. But, yeah, we're going to head back to town and Kronos, because the professions I need are actually in the town. So it will be all in one area. So it should be easy to do. Probably gonna be flooding my bags with garbage. Yeah, probably. Go ahead and grab this copper too while I'm at it. In the general vicinity. More the merrier, right? Yeah. I think I'll finish up this episode by just doing my professions, finishing up, doing as much as I can, until I've got nothing left to really work on because I don't have enough free agents, and just call it an episode. Because yeah, this episode is just to do pretty much this much and just kind of relax, talk, vent my ideas on what WoW can be like if given the chance, I think it would be a pretty good idea um, to do Classic Plus because Hardcore WoW is already very popular. Wrath of the Lich King is kind of falling off, and with Hardcore being resurgence in Classic, obviously your Classic Plus people are going to be there looking at it like, This is your big chance. Retail sucks. You might as well make the old game better because people love the old game, right? I would definitely would hope so. I hope they don't put a price tag either because I think that would be a wasted opportunity. People have already bought into your subscription and you've raised the subscription fees. So it goes without saying, I don't, and I hope they don't just make you buy it. A classic plus crazy lunatic thinking and such. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Blizzard to do it, but they're under new management with Microsoft. If anything, I'm sure it will be free on a Game Pass. As I play into the meme, I think it would be all right. I think no matter how much they put a price on it, I think people would still buy it. They would complain, but I think they'd still buy it because you know why not, right? It's just how it's always been. It's always been that way. So it goes without saying, right? Come on, there are people out there like this, and they have their own way of thinking of how about how things work and how things should be and stuff. You know, it's just how it is. Is one idea better than the next idea? No, not really. I wouldn't think so. I personally think though is that any idea is a good idea at this point because retail has fallen off so bad. It's fallen off very poorly, and it's just it's dying. It's definitely dying, and it needs some life revigoration. A lot of people have already tossed around the idea and the concept of a total reset on WoW, which I don't think can get anything done. I don't think that will achieve anything other than a repeat of what's happening now, right? Come out with a WoW 2, it's not going to take long. It didn't take long. When Classic came out, it was true to form, but when TBC came out, that's when they started pushing their WoW store, and then Wrath of the Lich King gave them the excuse to put the WoW token on it. So it doesn't matter the era. It doesn't matter the setting. It's still going to end up, just the same. Just the same. It's going to all be for profit, pretty much. There's nothing innovative about it or going to be innovative about it. It's just how it is. And the rose tinted goggles can only last so long until the idea of what you want is just shattered and sundered and stuff. It's just it's how it is, and you can always kind of hope it don't, but deep down, it's just not going to be the same. It's not. It's never going to be what you want. It's never what you're going to expect. And I think a lot of people kind of hold on to the hope that they surely can't fuck it up. But you should also know that deep down in your heart, they're gonna fuck it up. But you just don't want to know how hard they fuck it up, right? It's never the idea of that plays in the mind of any of it. I mean, I personally would love for them not to screw it up. I think it would be pretty fun. I think it would be pretty innovative to just restart WoW and actually follow the set lore that it has already. You know, when we started breaking away from the lore after Lich King and going into Cataclysm, they didn't have any reference to base off of, so they just kind of did with whatever and like canonized a bunch of stuff and then just erased a lot of old lore because it doesn't fit their narrative anymore. I think is such a waste. Such a waste of potential, of ideas. You know, it is absolutely a waste. To just come up with a bunch of ideas, a bunch of concepts, and just tossing it to them because it just doesn't fit the narrative they want. And it's fine if it's a few things, right? But when they continuously keep doing it, expansion after expansion, it just falls apart. There's no more foundation that holds it up in a balanced position where it's between the line of, realistically this could happen in fan fiction, right? When they started really doubling down on the idea of Sylvanas being this big character in lore, it's true, she is. She had a whole vengeance arc based on it. But after a while, it just became very boring, you know? It became drawn out, especially when it took more than one whole X pack worth of content, and it is just no, uh, it just can't be done, right? First stuff started in Legion, stayed in BFA, and was done with in Shadowlands, right? I personally think a lot about it, and how things could have been done differently, you know. And I think that there was a lot of things that was discussed and brought up during those times that I thought was absolutely stupid and dumb and made no sense, and also just blatant, causing things to happen because things needed to happen. I did not care for the Legion plotline for the Horde for Stromheim. I will take a hot take on that. I will say that Legion Stromheim was shit at the very beginning because Gen is such a stupid individual. I mean, seriously. People would defend Gen's actions as just because she was trying to enslave the Valkyrie to her bidding using Helia's lantern and being this big baddie when she did it because she could not raise more undead. She needs Valkyrie help, and her top Valkyrie lieutenants, perished reviving her after Godfrey killed her. So she needs new Valkyrie. So she went there for new Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie did not want to play long. She used the lantern to get them to play along. And then in comes Gen, destroys the lantern, screws everything up, and all this other kind of stuff. But even then, before that point, the Alliance and the Horde signed a truce until the Legion threat was over. And going on to this new continent with a truce, Gen attacked Sylvanas and the Horde based on petty revenge. He signed the truce. He was one of the first leaders to sign the truce with Anduin, said, yeah, we'll comply. And then the moment they make a landing in Stromheim, instantly breaks that truce, goes to war with the Horde, and says, screw it, because my son dead. Like, and Varian dead. Like, she couldn't have prevented Varian's downfall. Horde players know exactly what happened on their side, and the Alliance players don't. Any hardcore Alliance player who never watched the Horde side of views would, justify that, yeah, it was necessary because she let Varian die. But because Vol'jin got struck and was dying on the battlefield, instead of having everybody on the horde get routed, the entire ledge being overrun, leaving the alliance at a disadvantage, she did a strategic retreat by trying to get the attention of both horde and the alliance to retreat to save Vol'jin as best she can, and to keep the leaders from dying on that ridge. Right? She was trying everything in her power to make sure that everybody wasn't going to die that day. And at the cost of that, Varian sacrifices himself because he didn't want the alliance to fall that day, right? And he bought time, basically. He bought as much time as he can afford to keep the all of the demons, distracted on him as everybody escapes. So already, Gen doesn't understand why she blew the horn to retreat and only assumed that the horde just cowardly ran away from the battle because it was too much or wanting to leave the alliance for dead, which was never the case. There was no communication. Nobody gave anybody any reason why they did it. And it was only raw emotion that the horde lost Vol'jin, and Vol'jin made Sylvanas leader, and when having to take the mantle, right? That was it. I think if there was any form of communication as to why things happened the way they did, and reevaluate and reassess each other, and understanding and finalizing the idea of an alliance rather than a truce, I think Legion could have had a very, very good start. Would have had a perfect start, but it didn't. Because we have to have petty drama. Of course, mid Legion, late Legion, everybody had a great time. I had a great time. I thought it was such a good time. Uh, you know, I still say that it's a good expansion. I think it's still a great expansion, personally. I think it just had a rough start. But everything past that rough start, I think was actually a pretty decent approach to everything, right? I personally think so anyway. Um, it could have been handled a lot better, but that's just my personal take on it. It's obviously not shared by a lot of people, but I think it was pretty good late, pretty terrible at start. Again, the rose tinted goggle people having their own, personal beef about it and stuff can, be brought up to. I mean, it's fine. I just think differently, right? I think differently. Um, but yeah, uh, it's just how it is. Let's see. I think I'm starting to get close to getting my professions done for this episode. We're already about 50 minutes in. Pretty long episode, not gonna lie, based on all this stuff. Uh, so I'll probably wrap things up here. For this episode, guys. So tune in next time, where I will probably get back to questing. If not, I'll just do another round of doing my professions and stuff, just depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, guys, until next time, uh, leave a like, a comment. Please leave comments. If I do another video like this, I definitely love to read comments, questions, stuff like that. Do subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And until next time, guys, uh, be happy, smile often, watch funny videos, work with what you got, and have fun. with it, you know. And the next time, guys, chill out and peace out.